It is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I want y'all to start taking it serious. Our producer and I was having a conversation when before the show even started, when Tom Joyner retired. The producer sat me down and it was like, what's one of the main things you wanted to would like to focus on as far as your morning show? And, of course, I said HBCUs and to continue to do the things that Tom Joyner had already set in place to supporting our HBCUs. But one of the things I really wanted to focus on, my number 2 thing, is Mental Health Awareness Month. And we have suffered for so many generations via mental health because we just don't recognize it. And black folks, we don't like to talk about stuff like that. We just like to put your uncle back down in the room and close the door and get his damn check every month. And we don't want to deal with it or sweep it up under the rug and don't talk about it at all. You know something wrong, but nobody wants to talk about what's wrong. And I'm so excited that we're getting more people. Brad Eva Rock T Special K, when I look on Facebook and social media, I see more people talking about therapists. I'm seeing the word, I'm going to therapy. I talk to my therapist, or even making jokes like, man, let me go, I need to call my therapist. We're just normalizing going to therapy. And if there's anybody out there, we just want to encourage you, if you feel sad, if you feel depressed, go and get the help that you need, because if your ankle was hurting, you would go to the doctor. If your leg was hurting, you would go to the doctor. If your wrist was hurting or broke, you would go to the doctor. The brain is only a muscle, just like everything else in your body. And sometimes you can sprain your brain, hurt your brain, or whatever. You need to go to the doctor for it and get the therapy that you need, so you won't pass that on to the next generation. Gary, real quick, how important has and let me say this before, Gary, we going through it too. I was in a therapy session, one of my kids the other day, and it take the wind out of you. It is draining to sit up here and the butterflies I have in my stomach at night, knowing that my kid need help and having the thoughts that he have or whatever. A young lady at Southern University, she was a cheerleader, ended her life due to depression and stuff or whatever. And we just don't want that for our kids. A lot of them are depressed and just a balance thing. Gary, what does mental health month mean to you?
Oh, you know what it means to me. It definitely means a lot. And like you were saying, it's a good thing that we are talking about mental health now, because, back in the day, we just didn't talk about that or what have you and stuff. But it means a lot to me, and it meant a lot to me, back in the day, especially when I was, I moved away from home and, and I was going through some situations with the bipolarism and what have you, and they didn't know what it was at the time. But one thing that really helped me, which made me who I am today, when I went through therapy. I never forget the session that I went through with my mom and dad, and my uncle came to the session. And my therapist told my parents that he felt that I wanted them to know about my alternative lifestyle. I didn't want to tell my mom and them that, but he brought it up to the forefront because he felt that was part of me, what I was going through. And that was the best thing that could have happened to me in my life, when he sat down and told my mom and dad and my uncle, about my alternative lifestyle. Which my dad said, he said, well, I got 7 sons. He said, I don't really care for it, but I accept him.
Yeah.
And, honey, that made my life just soar. I've been able to do all what I want. That's how I'm able to be me right here today.
Right.
When that therapist told my parents that, honey, and I said at that point, you could not tell my mom and them nothing about me, because, honey, they wouldn't have believed it, because they know me. And right. And you couldn't tell me nothing because I knew who I was. So it was a good thing, and I felt sad.
You still see a therapist?
Yes, I love going to a therapist, honey. I love my therapist, because, it's just, it takes a lot off you, just like this job. People don't realize this job is stressful. We have fun talking on the radio. Do you know all the stuff we got to go through, honey, that y'all don't see or hear? So, honey, I definitely got to go to my therapist and stuff, to get, a lot of that stuff off of my shoulders. So I think more people, should get a therapist. And if you can't afford a therapist, I know I went to MHMR, mental health, mental retardation. I went to that before I was able, to afford a therapist. Right. Honey, I would sit down every week and talk to my therapist and, let them know how I was feeling and stuff. And it helped me out a lot. That's why y'all could throw all this mess at me on the radio and I look at y'all crazy. Because it don't bother me.
Pay us no attention.
Don't pay you no attention. Right. Because you got to have thick skin.
Yes, you do.
So you got to have thick skin. And so my skin is thick. So, honey, I love it. And all of that is due to going to a therapist.
Well, I definitely appreciate my therapist. Anybody else doing therapy on the show?
I'm actually looking to set up some for me and my kids, for some of the issues. Me and my oldest son, especially, we are well overdue for that. So I'm looking to actually set up something like that right now.
I definitely go.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
me and my wife
you go too?
Yeah, you'd be surprised at things that people deal with that others don't know about. And, for me, it's about trying to be the best version of myself, Ricky, and raising 3 beautiful black children. They deserve the best me. So I have to, if not for anyone, but for those people that I affect in life,
See, this is important. We need to have more conversations like this. I want to. We'll just have probably like take a day out of the week and make it mental health day or do it at least once a month or whatever, because it's so important to get our people help and to break this generational curse of not talking about it. But I'm not throwing any shade, but Gary, your parents, they already knew. You didn't have to wait to go to therapy. One of y'all family pictures, 7 boys, and y'all taking family pictures, and you the only one in the front doing a split. They knew.
It was official when they got it. They official when they do it.
But they knew. You don't have
I was able to pull.
Because you was double jointed.
Yeah, you don't have to be walking around on your tippy toes to make a bowl of cereal. He knew.
Okay.